What if the greatest secret of reality manipulation has been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years? Ancient texts speak of a figure called Hermes Trismegistus, who encoded universal laws so powerful that mystery schools kept them hidden from the masses. These 7 Hermetic principles explain why some people effortlessly manifest their desires, while others struggle despite using the same techniques. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal how these principles form the operating system of reality itself, and how you might be unknowingly working against them. The man who never was. Picture this: a single figure revered as the Greek god Hermes, the Egyptian deity Thoth, and even woven into Christian traditions as a contemporary of Moses. 3 ancient civilizations shared this enigmatic sage, yet no tomb, artifacts, or physical evidence confirm his earthly existence. The Greeks called him Hermes Trismegistus, Hermes thrice-great. Egyptian priests claimed he recorded their secret doctrines 36,000 years ago. Early Christian writers like Augustine debated whether this pagan prophet had glimpsed fragments of divine truth. By the Islamic Golden Age, Arab scholars studied his works alongside Aristotle. Was he a historical figure, a myth, or something else entirely? Scholars remain divided. Some argue he symbolizes a fusion of Greek and Egyptian wisdom during Ptolemaic Egypt around 300 BCE. Others suggest he was a real sage whose legend grew over time. The most intriguing theory posits that Hermes Trismegistus was not a person, but a title passed down through generations of initiates in mystery schools. Imagine a modern detective chasing a ghost. Hermes is that ghost. The Emerald Tablet, a cryptic text containing the famous "as above, so below" principle, appeared in medieval Europe with no clear record of its journey from ancient Egypt. Written as if by Hermes himself, its ideas about cosmic correspondence have fascinated thinkers for centuries. During the Renaissance, Marsilio Ficino, under orders from the Medici family, translated ancient Greek texts. He abandoned all other projects when he discovered the Corpus Hermeticum, writings attributed to Hermes. This risky decision could have jeopardized his career, as the church viewed these pagan works as dangerous. Yet Ficino believed they contained wisdom surpassing even Plato and Aristotle. Hermes' influence rippled through history. Alchemy's core concepts stem from Hermetic texts. Freemasonry's symbolic rituals draw on Hermetic principles. Even Isaac Newton, renowned for his laws of motion, spent more time studying Hermetic texts than physics. His private journals suggest he believed the ancients held truths modern science was still uncovering. Jewish mysticism's Kabbalah shares striking parallels with Hermetic thought, particularly in mapping creation's structure. Scholars speculate these traditions may have influenced each other during Alexandria's Golden Age. Islamic scholars preserved and expanded Hermetic knowledge during Europe's Dark Ages. The alchemist Jabir ibn Hayyan quoted Hermes extensively, linking transformation and purification to cosmic principles. Whether historical figure, myth, or collective wisdom, Hermes Trismegistus remains a unique symbol of humanity's quest for understanding. His teachings endure where others fade, offering principles that resonate across time and cultures. The Cosmic Blueprint. Imagine finding an ancient manuscript claiming reality operates on 7 universal laws. The Hermetic principles present what might be the earliest known attempt to explain existence itself, expressions of foundational rules governing everything from atoms to galaxies. These 7 principles are like a hidden code, quietly running the system while shaping every interaction, yet often unnoticed. Modern physics struggles with unifying quantum mechanics and general relativity into one framework. Yet these ancient texts proposed a unified view centuries ago. where mental, physical, and spiritual realities interweave. They described vibration as the fundamental nature of matter long before scientists confirmed that particles oscillate at quantum levels. They outlined correspondence between macrocosm and microcosm, mirroring how galaxies resemble atomic structures. Isaac Newton studied Hermetic manuscripts extensively, believing they contained lost knowledge about nature's workings. His notebooks revealed detailed annotations on alchemical texts attributed to Hermes Trismegistus. Newton's theory of universal gravitation reflects Hermetic ideas about unseen forces connecting all things, showing how ancient insights influenced foundational science. Quantum entanglement highlights the principle of correspondence, where patterns repeat across scales. When particles remain connected across vast distances, changing one instantly affects its partner. Similarly, the principle of mentalism aligns with experiments, showing observation impacts particle behavior, suggesting consciousness shapes reality. Modern scientists continue drawing from these ideas. Physicist David Bohm's theory of the implicate order, inspired by Hermetic concepts, proposed the universe as an unbroken whole. Biologist Rupert Sheldrake's morphic resonance theory explores how information patterns transmit across time and space, echoing Hermetic notions of cosmic memory. The principle of vibration anticipated modern understandings of quantum fields. Everything from light waves to brain activity operates through vibrational frequencies. Researchers studying cellular communication have found that cells use specific frequencies to exchange information. Sound therapy applies these principles clinically, using vibration to promote healing, similar to ancient practices with mantras and toning. Carl Jung incorporated Hermetic ideas into his psychology, particularly synchronicities and the collective unconscious. He viewed alchemy as symbolic psychology, a system for inner transformation using universal principles. Neuroscience now supports these ideas, showing how focused thought rewires neural pathways and how beliefs create measurable physiological effects, validating the principle of mentalism. The 7 principles form an interdependent system where understanding one deepens comprehension of the others. Modern research increasingly aligns with these ancient insights, suggesting they weren't primitive speculation but intuitive frameworks anticipating discoveries at the cutting edge of science. Your mind is the projector. What if your thoughts could shape your reality? Imagine a struggling artist who, after years of self-doubt, begins visualizing success daily. Slowly opportunities appear, an unexpected gallery offer, a chance meeting with a patron. Coincidence, or is there something deeper at play? The first Hermetic principle, mentalism, states that the all is mind. This means the universe itself is mental in nature, and consciousness is the foundation of existence. Hermeticism suggests matter emerges from mind, not the other way around. Consider the placebo effect. Patients given sugar pills often experience real physiological changes if they believe they've taken medicine. Brain scans show that their expectations trigger healing responses, such as reduced inflammation, pain relief, and even tumor shrinkage. Their beliefs create tangible effects. Similarly, at the quantum level, particles behave differently when observed. The act of measurement changes their state, suggesting consciousness interacts directly with matter in ways science can't fully explain. Mystics across traditions echo this. Tibetan monks practicing Tummo meditation raise their body temperature through focused visualization, drying wet sheets in freezing conditions. Hermetic texts describe adepts altering material reality through disciplined mental training. These aren't supernatural claims, but demonstrations of mentalism in action. consciousness influencing the physical world through sustained intention. Modern manifestation techniques often miss the deeper mechanics behind why they sometimes work. Visualizing a goal activates the brain's reticular activating system, filtering perceptions to notice relevant opportunities. But mentalism goes further. It proposes that consistent thoughts don't just help you spot possibilities, they arrange circumstances to match your dominant mental state. If underlying doubts contradict affirmations, the deeper belief wins. Neurologically, this aligns with how the brain strengthens neural pathways through repetition. Studies on London taxi drivers show their hippocampi grow larger as they memorize streets. Their mental focus rewires their brains. Mentalism suggests a similar process happens with reality itself. Persistent thoughts don't just change perception, they alter the information field from which events emerge. Practical application starts with noticing thought patterns. Most minds drift randomly, pulled by external stimuli. Mentalism requires conscious focus. Dwelling on lack reinforces it. The principle isn't naive positivity, but disciplined intention. Like a sculptor shaping clay, your thoughts mold your reality over time. Test this for a week. Observe how your dominant thoughts reflect in daily experiences. Reality behaves less like a fixed stage and more like an interactive mirror, one that mentalism teaches you to consciously direct. The mirror universe. Here's where it gets interesting. The second Hermetic principle, correspondence, states, "As above, so below." This phrase suggests that patterns repeat across all levels of reality. What happens in the cosmos mirrors what happens in your daily life. Ancient temple builders understood this, designing sacred spaces to reflect celestial arrangements, believing earthly structures could harness cosmic energies when aligned properly. Consider the spiral patterns found throughout nature. The same logarithmic spirals appear in galaxies, seashells, hurricanes, and even your inner ear. DNA's double helix reflects the twisted strands of energy filaments connecting galaxies. Modern physics supports this idea. Fractal mathematics shows how simple formulas generate complex structures that repeat at different scales. These patterns aren't random, they reveal a universal blueprint. This principle also applies to personal life. Relationship dynamics often mirror larger societal issues. A family arguing over resources echoes nations competing for territory. Workplace power struggles reflect historical conflicts between rulers and citizens. Alchemists embraced this idea, believing that transforming base metals required understanding how cosmic forces manifested in material substances. Their laboratory tools mirrored planetary alignments because they saw metallurgical processes as earthly reflections of celestial events. Ancient cultures studied the stars to understand human affairs, noticing how planetary cycles corresponded with events on Earth. Modern research reveals similar connections. Solar activity cycles align with historical periods of social unrest. Human brainwaves sync with Earth's electromagnetic field fluctuations. NASA has even documented how geomagnetic storms affect the human nervous system. You can test this principle in your own life. For example, someone constantly struggling with authority figures might discover they're replaying a family dynamic. A business facing repeated setbacks might reflect industry-wide shifts they've ignored. Changing the small pattern can influence the larger one. This explains why personal transformation often leads to unexpected external changes. Sacred geometry offers visual proof of correspondence. The flower of life pattern appears in ancient temples and quantum physics models of atomic structures. Buckminster Fuller's geodesic domes use the same geometry found in virus capsids and carbon molecules. These repeating forms suggest an underlying blueprint, shaping reality at all levels. The principle reveals that outer circumstances reflect inner states. Change the inner state, and the outer reflection shifts. Traffic jams can mirror mental congestion. Computer crashes might reflect system overload in your life. These aren't supernatural signs, but natural expressions of a universe built on repeating patterns. Once you recognize the language, you can read reality like a book. Tuning your emotional frequency. Picture this: you're stuck in traffic, feeling frustrated when your favorite song comes on. Suddenly your mood shifts and the tension melts away. This simple moment illustrates the third Hermetic principle, vibration. It states that nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Modern science confirms this at the quantum level, where particles vibrate even in stillness. Your emotions work the same way, as energy patterns moving at specific frequencies. Joy raises your vibration, while anger or fear lowers it. Manifestations often fail because conscious intentions clash with emotional vibrations. For example, you might affirm wealth but secretly feel anxious about money. The stronger vibration wins. This is why willpower alone often falls short. Your emotional state broadcasts a conflicting signal. Negative emotions activate the brain's fear response, narrowing perception and blocking opportunities. Positive emotions, on the other hand, expand awareness and enhance problem solving. Sound therapy demonstrates this principle in action. Tibetan singing bowls, for instance, shift brain waves from alert beta states to relaxed alpha or meditative theta states. Studies show specific tones stimulate the vagus nerve, reducing stress hormones. Similarly, binaural beats synchronize the brain to desired frequencies, guiding consciousness into calm or focused states. Ancient mystery schools understood this, using mantras and vowel sounds to reshape consciousness. Your environment also influences your vibration. Natural sunlight boosts serotonin, while fluorescent lights increase stress. Even colors vibrate at different rates. Blue calms the nervous system, while red stimulates it. Ancient temples used colored filters to induce specific states. You can apply this by noticing how spaces affect your mood. Clutter creates chaotic energy, while orderly spaces promote clarity. Food carries vibrational energy too. Fresh produce has higher life force energy than processed foods. Water exposed to positive words forms beautiful crystalline patterns, while negativity creates fractured forms. Relationships function similarly. Spending time with negative people can lower your frequency, while inspired individuals elevate it. Groups meditating together have even been shown to reduce crime rates in surrounding areas, demonstrating vibration's collective power. The hidden gift in every conflict. What if every conflict contained a hidden blueprint for your growth? The fourth Hermetic principle, polarity, states that opposites are simply different degrees of the same thing. Hot and cold aren't separate forces, but extremes on a temperature spectrum. This principle explains why your most challenging relationships often hold the keys to your evolution. Modern culture tends to view opposition as something to avoid or defeat. However, Hermetic philosophy suggests friction creates the necessary conditions for transformation. Alchemists demonstrated this through their pursuit of turning lead into gold. On the surface, it seems like metallurgy, but it was always a metaphor for inner work. Lead represents dense unconscious patterns, the parts of ourselves we consider base or unrefined. Gold symbolizes awakened consciousness. The alchemical process wasn't about denying the lead, but recognizing its potential to become gold through heat and purification. Similarly, conflicts refine us. That difficult co-worker or family member isn't an obstacle. They're a catalyst for developing patience, communication, or boundaries. History's greatest rivalries reflect this principle. Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla's competition drove each to innovate beyond their limits. Edison's practical experimentation and Tesla's theoretical brilliance forced both to refine their ideas. Steve Jobs and Bill Gates had a similar dynamic, their clashes pushing personal computing forward. These rivalries weren't just conflicts, they were friction that sharpened innovation, much like how resistance strengthens muscles. This same dynamic applies to personal relationships. The friend who challenges your views isn't working against you. They're providing the tension needed to sharpen your thinking. Modern psychology confirms this. Studies show moderate conflict in teams produces better outcomes than constant harmony. Friction, whether in relationships or ideas, leads to refinement. Consider a personal example. A heated argument with a close friend might reveal where you've been unclear about your needs. Initially painful, the conflict can lead to deeper understanding and stronger bonds. The key is recognizing the unity behind opposites. Anger and compassion both stem from caring deeply. Fear and excitement feel similar in the body, differing only in perspective. Hermetic practitioners train to spot these connections, asking, what higher principle unites these opposites? Riding life's pendulum. Imagine life's cycles as the tides shaping a seashore, constant, powerful, and inevitable. The fifth Hermetic principle, rhythm, teaches that everything moves in cycles. Ocean tides, economic markets, and even your energy follow predictable ebbs and flows. Yet modern life often ignores these patterns, demanding constant activity. This resistance creates unnecessary struggle, like swimming against a current instead of riding it. Push beyond these cycles, and productivity plummets. Writers often describe bursts of creativity followed by necessary rest periods. What society labels as inconsistency, Hermetic philosophy sees as intelligent design. Ancient cultures worked with these rhythms. Egyptians initiated timed rituals with lunar phases, amplifying specific energies. Farmers still plant by moon cycles today. Pythagorean mathematicians identified personal cycles through numerology, avoiding major decisions during low energy periods. Modern biometric tracking confirms this. Our physical, mental, and emotional states follow measurable patterns. Seasonal rituals also aligned with these cycles. Celtic cultures marked the year with 8 Sabbats tied to solar and agricultural shifts. These weren't mere celebrations, but intentional alignments with cosmic timing. The spring equinox focused on new beginnings, the summer solstice on growth, the autumn equinox on harvest, and the winter solstice on rest. Even today, corporate planners unconsciously echo this wisdom, launching initiatives in January and slowing down before summer. Your body already responds to these rhythms. Sleep researchers note how REM cycles align with moon phases. Hospital records show higher birth rates during full moons. Traditional Chinese medicine maps energy flow through organs at specific times. Your liver detoxifies most efficiently between 1 and 3 a.m., while your lungs peak at dawn. Fighting these rhythms creates stress. For example, night shifts disrupt circadian clocks, increasing health risks. The Hermetic approach encourages conscious cooperation with these patterns. Track your energy for a month, note when focus flows easily or when conflicts arise. Over time, personal rhythms emerge. Ancient Greek athletes used this to optimize training, a practice mirrored by modern Olympic coaches. Syncing activities with lunar phases offers another method. New moons support fresh starts, waxing moons build momentum, full moons encourage reflection, and waning moons aid completion. Recognizing these cycles helps you work with, not against, natural flows. Mastery comes when you anticipate shifts. Like sailors reading the winds, you'll sense when to push forward and when to rest. Cooperation with life's rhythms transforms struggle into effortless progress. The hidden architecture of consequences. Here's where it gets interesting. The sixth Hermetic principle, cause and effect, reveals that chance is simply unrecognized causation. What we call luck or misfortune follows precise patterns. Modern psychology supports this through studies on locus of control. People who believe they influence outcomes tend to achieve more than those who blame circumstances. This isn't about positive thinking, but understanding how small causes accumulate into major effects. Neuroscience explains this physically. Each thought strengthens specific neural pathways. Repeated thoughts rewire the brain, making those patterns automatic. This is why people stuck in negative cycles struggle to change. Their mental highways default to familiar routes. Chronic complainers, for instance, develop thicker neural networks for negative thinking. The good news? Deliberate focus can rebuild these pathways. Studies on mindfulness meditation show measurable gray matter increases in areas linked to emotional regulation after just 8 weeks of practice. This principle also applies to relationships. Conflict often stems from accumulated small resentments rather than single incidents. Research from the Gottman Institute shows couples typically experience dozens of minor negative interactions before a major argument. Ignored complaints or unacknowledged kindnesses plant seeds for future discord. Conversely, small daily appreciations build resilience. The same principle works in both directions. Minor causes can trigger major positive effects just as easily as negative ones. Financial patterns offer another clear example. Studies of lottery winners reveal that most return to their original economic status within 5 years. Their spending habits and money mindset, the root causes, override the temporary windfall. Meanwhile, self-made millionaires who lose fortunes often rebuild them quickly because their disciplined thinking and behavior patterns remain intact. This demonstrates why quick fixes fail. Lasting change requires addressing underlying causes, not just surface effects. Hermetic practitioners developed methods to trace effects back to root causes. One technique involved keeping a causality journal. Each evening they'd record significant events from their day and work backward to identify contributing factors. A missed opportunity might link to weeks of procrastination. A chance meeting could result from consistently attending certain places. Over time, this practice reveals hidden patterns most people overlook. The payoff comes when you start recognizing your thoughts as causes before they manifest as effects. That moment of irritation in traffic becomes a signal to examine your inner state rather than blame external conditions. The creative spark within. Picture this. Ancient Egyptian temple walls depict the god Thoth impregnating the universe with sacred geometry, while Taoist texts describe creation emerging from the interplay of yin and yang energies. The seventh Hermetic principle, gender, uses this metaphor to explain that all creation stems from the interaction of masculine and feminine energies. This isn't about biological sex or social roles, but fundamental creative forces present in everyone and everything. Masculine energy represents the active, focused aspect, the impulse to initiate. Feminine energy embodies the receptive, nurturing quality, the capacity to gestate and bring forth. Both are essential for creation, yet modern culture often misinterprets this as gender politics, missing the deeper metaphysical truth. Every creative act reflects this balance. An artist receives inspiration, feminine, and applies disciplined technique, masculine, to manifest it. Scientific discoveries begin with intuitive hunches, feminine, followed by rigorous testing, masculine. Even biological reproduction requires both sperm active and egg receptive energies. Imbalance occurs when one aspect dominates. Overdeveloped masculine energy leads to harshness, while excessive feminine energy results in passivity. Harmonizing both creates optimal creativity. Leonardo da Vinci exemplified this balance. His precise anatomical drawings, masculine, emerged from imaginative speculations, feminine. Ancient cultures developed practices to align these energies. Egyptian priests performed rituals at dawn, masculine solar energy, and dusk, feminine lunar energy. Taoist alchemy taught breathing techniques to circulate opposing currents in the body. Even Gothic cathedrals embodied this principle, soaring spires, masculine, rising from nurturing nave spaces, feminine. These weren't just symbolic but practical methods for inducing balance. Modern brain research supports this. The left hemisphere specializes in logical processing, masculine, while the right handles intuitive functions, feminine. Whole brain functioning is activated when both work together. You can test this yourself. Try creating something using only disciplined effort without inspiration. The results often feel mechanical. Then create purely from inspiration without technique. The outcome may lack structure, but when you combine spontaneous ideas with skilled execution, magic happens. Writers know this balance well. They surrender to creative flow, feminine, and then edit ruthlessly, masculine. So, how balanced are your energies? Notice when you feel stuck creatively. Too much masculine energy creates frustration, while excess feminine energy leads to vague ideas. The remedy lies in consciously employing the opposite energy. When these forces flow together, creative blocks dissolve, relationships deepen, and decision-making becomes intuitive. These 7 principles interconnect, forming a cohesive framework for understanding reality. Master mentalism and you'll notice correspondence everywhere. Grasp polarity and cause-effect becomes clearer. The key isn't memorization, but applying them until they transform your perception. The ancients didn't hide these truths. They knew only experience reveals their power. Imagine the transformation as you test them yourself. Take the first step and watch your world begin to shift.